In this one, we are looking at the conversion of time units. Now, time is something that's very familiar to us, so this will be very useful in your day-to-day life. There are two types of timekeeping that we have, and that is 12-hour clocks and 24-hour clocks. We in the Caribbean here in Trinidad and Tobago, we are familiar with 12-hour clocks most. We are not familiar with the 24-hour clocks. But the differences are very small, and you will see them as we go on. So since we are familiar with the 12-hour clock, we can look at the 12-hour clock, we can tell the time, we can go through it like nothing. Let's now see what it looks like on the 24-hour clock compared to our 12-hour clock. Let's say, for example, 8 o'clock in the morning when everybody's supposed to be heading out to work. In somewhere that uses the 24-hour clock, it will be 8 hours, 0 minutes. If it is that we are looking at lunchtime, 12 p.m., then what we are looking at on the 24-hour clock is 12 hours, 0 minutes. If it is that we are looking at 6 p.m. in the evening, when it's time to probably start going indoors, we are looking at 18 hours, 0 minutes. If it is that we are looking at midnight, then on the 24-hour clock, it is 0 hours, 0 minutes, or 24 hours, 0 minutes. And these two are the exact same value. Now, you may ask then, what is the benefit of having the 24-hour clock over the 12-hour clock? The only difference I see is when you're doing calculations, it's easier for you to do the calculations with. For example, let's say for instance you are on a journey, and your journey starts at 8 a.m. and it finishes at 6 p.m. We know from regular maths that all you have to do is say finish minus start will be equal to the difference in time. So I finish at 6 p.m. and I minus 8 p.m. If I take 6 p.m. and I minus 8 a.m., it's not very easy for me to see. I may write something like minus 2, and then I would have this unit here on the side, and I would figure out, well, okay, well, what do I do after that? Is it minus 2 hours from a 12? Or what exactly is it? It's a little bit confusing. However, if I rewrite this into the 24-hour clocks notation, I will have 18 hours, 0 minutes, and I will have 8 hours, 0 minutes as my values, and then when I subtract it I get 10 hours, 0 minutes. Notice it will tell you right away how long your journey was. Instead of us having to go and count, okay, from 8 to 12 is 4 hours, from 12 to 6 is 6 hours. So we have 6 and 4, 10 hours. So since I've already established why it would be best to look at 24-hour periods, the next thing that we have to look at is the time equivalence. How certain values are equivalent. And this is a standard that you're supposed to know. When you're looking at time, it goes in 60s when you start off. 60 seconds, we go to 1 minute. 60 minutes, 1 hour. From there, we know that 24 hours in 1 day, and then 7 days in 1 week. The ones that we know, therefore, are these. Definitely, we're supposed to know these. In a standard month, we estimate that a standard month has 30 days. We estimate a standard year as 365 days or 12 months or 52 weeks, and a decade as 10 years. When it is that you are doing something and they ask you, for instance, how many seconds in 3 minutes, you should be able to say, okay, well, 3 minutes is 3 times 60, and I would get 180 seconds. Or let's say, for instance, they ask you which one is shorter, 120 seconds or 2 minutes.